Do you remember the sound? That unmistakable screech and hum of the dial-up modem. It was our gateway to a new world, wasn't it? Back in the 90s, connecting took time, it took patience. And once we were online, with our AOL chat rooms and our early websites, there was still a sense of space. We weren't constantly bombarded, we weren't always on. There was a rhythm to our engagement, a deliberate choice to connect, followed by the natural quiet of disconnection. We had moments to simply be, to think, to exist without the pressure of an immediate response or a public performance. That, my friends, was a different kind of energy. We navigated our teenage years, our early adulthood with a different set of tools. Our friendships were often nurtured face-to-face or through lengthy phone calls where you could hear a smile, a sigh. We made mixtapes, carefully curating songs that spoke our hearts, a process that required focus and intention. There wasn't this relentless urge to broadcast every thought, every meal, every fleeting emotion to the entire world. Our lives felt more private, perhaps more sacred in some ways. Have you ever found yourself in a conversation trying so hard to explain your choices, your feelings, your very being, to someone who just doesn't seem to get it? Or worse, someone who doesn't seem to care? You pour out your energy, carefully choosing your words, hoping for understanding, for connection. Yet, you walk away feeling emptier than before, perhaps even misunderstood or judged. This, my dear friends, is the unseen burden of justifying your joy, your path, your truth to indifferent hearts. It's a heavy weight to carry, and it chips away at our precious life force, little by little. This need to explain often stems from a desire to be accepted, to be validated. We want others to see our good intentions, to understand our motivations. But the truth is, not everyone is meant to understand your journey. Not everyone has the capacity or the willingness to see the world through your eyes. What is the alternative to this cycle of explanation and exhaustion? It lies in turning inward, discovering the profound power of silence. Silence is not an empty void, it is rich and full. A sanctuary where you can hear the whispers of your soul. A space where clarity is born, and intuition is sharpened. Embracing silence means disengaging from external noise. Realizing your worth is inherent. It just is. The peace from this realization is transformative. I remember a time many years ago when I was so caught up in trying to make everyone understand my vision for a particular project. I poured my heart and soul into explaining, into justifying, into convincing. I spent countless hours in meetings, on phone calls, crafting emails, all in an effort to bring others on board with something I believed in so deeply. But the more I explained, the more resistance I seemed to encounter from certain individuals. It was frustrating. It was disheartening. I felt like I was hitting a brick wall, and my energy was just seeping away. One day, feeling utterly depleted, I remember sitting in my garden just being still. The birds were singing, the wind was rustling through the leaves, and a profound sense of quiet enveloped me. In that silence, a thought came to me, clear as a bell. Your truth doesn't need a constant defense. It was an aha moment of the purest kind. I realized that my passion, my conviction, my vision, they were valid, whether everyone else understood them or not. My job was to do the work, to live my truth, not to exhaust myself trying to win over every single skeptic. Section 5. Crafting your quiet, practical steps for inner peace. So how do we begin to cultivate this inner peace, this self-focus in our busy lives? It doesn't require grand gestures or dramatic changes overnight. It starts with small, intentional steps, like planting tiny seeds of quiet that will eventually blossom into a more serene inner landscape. One of the simplest ways to begin is by scheduling do not disturb time for yourself each day. Even if it's just for 15 minutes, treat it as an important appointment. This is your time to disconnect from devices, to sit quietly, to breathe, or to simply be present without any agenda. Another powerful practice is mindful journaling. Remember those diaries we kept in the 90s, filled with our hopes, dreams, and daily dramas? Journaling as an adult can be a more intentional tool for self-reflection. Write down your thoughts, your feelings, your frustrations, without judgment. This act of putting pen to paper can be incredibly clarifying. It helps you to process emotions and gain insights that might remain hidden in the noise of daily life. Section 6. The unspoken truth: reclaiming energy by not explaining. There is a radical act of self-care that many of us overlook, and that is the art of not explaining yourself to people who are committed to misunderstanding you, or who simply don't care. Think about how much energy we expend trying to justify our choices, our feelings, our very existence. We craft careful responses, we anticipate arguments, we replay conversations in our minds. This is precious energy, my friends. Energy that could be channeled into our passions, our growth, our well-being. When you choose not to engage in these futile explanations, you are reclaiming that power for yourself. This isn't about being rude or dismissive, it's about discernment. It's about recognizing that your peace of mind is more valuable than winning an argument or gaining approval from someone who isn't invested in your happiness. As the saying goes, the less you respond to negative people, the more peaceful your life will become. This is so true. When you stop feeding energy into negativity or indifference, it naturally begins to lose its hold on you. You are essentially choosing to protect your inner sanctuary from unnecessary intrusion. Section 7. From Walkmans to Wisdom, focusing your unique energy. Do you remember the intense focus it took to create the perfect mixtape back in the 90s? Selecting each song, timing it just right, making sure the flow was perfect from one track to the next. Or maybe it was mastering a level in your favorite video game, spending hours figuring out the patterns. That kind of focused energy, that deep concentration, is something we all possess. In today's world, it can feel harder to access with so many distractions, but it's still there, waiting to be harnessed for our personal growth and manifestation. When you choose to embrace silence and reduce the mental clutter of over-explaining, you free up an incredible amount of mental and emotional bandwidth. This newfound energy can then be directed towards your own goals, your passions, your dreams. Think about what you could create, what you could achieve, if you channeled even a fraction of the energy you currently spend on worrying about others' opinions or engaging in unproductive discussions. It's like redirecting a powerful river from a barren landscape to a fertile field, allowing new things to grow. Section 8. The True Glow-Up, nurturing your authentic self from within. We hear a lot about the glow-up these days, often referring to an external transformation. But I believe the most profound, the most lasting glow-up, is the one that happens from within. It's the radiance that emerges when you truly connect with your authentic self, when you shed the layers of expectation and conditioning, and begin to live from a place of genuine self-awareness and self-acceptance. This internal transformation is nurtured in the quiet spaces, in the moments of self-focus, and in the courage to honor your own truth, even if it differs from the crowd. This inward journey allows you to discover who you are, independent of others' opinions or societal pressures. You begin to understand your values, your strengths, your vulnerabilities, and your unique gifts. This self-knowledge is the foundation of true confidence, not an arrogant bravado, but a quiet, steady assurance that comes from being deeply rooted in your own being. When you know yourself this well, the need to constantly seek approval or to explain your every move to others naturally fades away. You become your own anchor. Section 9. Your silent strength, embracing a life of purpose and peace. My dear 90s kids, we've journeyed from the nostalgic echoes of dial-up to the profound depths of inner stillness. We've explored the liberation that comes from not explaining ourselves to those who won't or can't hear us. Now it's time to weave these insights into our daily lives, creating your own quiet revolution. A revolution of peace, purpose, and profound self-acceptance. Embrace your silent strength. True power often whispers. Set boundaries, protect your energy, and honor your inner knowing. Engage meaningfully from a place of centeredness and clarity. Your life is your message to the world. Make it inspiring.